Good morning, YouTube. Well, you know how I like to take you along to visit historic forts and battlefields, and today we're going to visit a fort that floats and maybe a few other things. I think there's going to be a couple of videos out of today. So the different camouflage patterns that the Alabama was painted when it was first launched in 42, it was dappled like this, and then in 43 they did the horizon line so the bottom would blend into the ocean, the top would blend in to the horizon, the sky, less visible. But then in 44 you painted it all blue so that it would be harder to see by Japanese aircraft. And then they went back to this, to the horizon line in 45, then was decommissioned. It went all gray like we see it today. So the Alabama was a South Dakota class battleship, and this sort of gives you a general idea of the internal layout. We're gonna pretty much get all over this, so like I said, this may be a couple videos. So the Alabama participated in 5 battles, so got 5 battle stars, starting at the Gilbert Islands, then the Marshall Islands, then Truk, down here off of New Guinea and Hollandia, back up, let's see, the Marinara Islands, or Marinana, yeah, and back to the Carolina Islands, and finally up in Okinawa, and then Tokyo. So if anybody's ever seen the movie Under Siege, it was filmed on the USS Alabama in '92. And it looks like this has been used for a number of other movies. US Indianapolis, Mission of the Shark. And it's like any machine shop anywhere. Of course, you got to have your pinups. And with a large crew, you got to have a large kitchen. And the refrigerators and ovens that definitely would latch closed. Of course, that was just the bakery. This is the kitchen where they would have cooked up hot stuff on the big flats. And a place to eat. I'm sure they would have been rotating the crew through here probably almost constantly. And of course, when you're done, it's all got to be washed up and racked up so that it doesn't slide around and get broken. And here's some crew quarters. I'm not sure whether where the best bunk would be, the top, one of the 2 in the middle, or the one on the bottom. In any case, they're 3 or 4 high. So one thing I like to see is that they have scouts and overnight groups can spend the night here on the Alabama, and get a feel for what it'd be like. And this is the Chief Petty Officer's mess. A little nicer than the one for the enlisted men. And of course, you need to have the ship's store where you can get your chew or your cigarettes or some candy, some cigars and whatnot. Little things you might need. So this is the Chief Master at Arms quarters, and slang, he was the Jimmy Legs, and he was the chief of police for the ship, and he was basically carried out the policies of the executive officer, maintained discipline on the ship, and probably did not win a whole lot of popularity contests, and especially using those oak, I am assuming, billy clubs back there. And this was the butcher shop. They would have kept a lot of meat on hand, frozen, thawed it out, cut it up. And for my culinary friends, this was the vegetable prep room off the kitchen. This is the motion picture locker, where I would assume keep things for entertainment, and you know, it'll keep the crew morale up. What's sort of interesting is that in every available nook and cranny there are lockers. And I'm talking every available nook and cranny. Get an idea what the inside of the lockers would have looked like. A drawer for stuff and shelves, and that's about it. So this is the officer's galley. There's a dumbwaiter back in there that would have transported the meals up to the main deck where the main officers ate, and that way the food stayed hot getting up there. And every Navy ship had a detachment of Marines, and this was where they stayed. And of course the Marines had their own, in their area, they had a tailor shop, they had a pressing shop, and that Marine stores where they could get what they needed. So these are spare 40mm gun barrels. They shot 80 shots per minute, and the barrels wore out, so they carried a number of spares with them. So very important was letters from the servicemen home, and from home to them, plus packages that were anxiously looked forward to, I am sure. But it all came through here. They would mostly get them when they got resupplied. If they were lucky, you got mail. So as we'll see when we get up above, that the 20mm guns had cans like this ammo and the magazines, and this is where they were loaded, get ready to be hauled up when needed. Now this is the Combat Information Center, where radar and plotting where they were on these various tables and keeping track of positions. And of course in battle there's always the possibility of damage, and this is the Damage Control Center, reporting back from the different groups and be able to allocate resources to control the damage. So down here in the engine room,